What if the most fundamental act of intimacy, the very core of human expression, was also the most significant source of energy depletion in your life? Have you ever considered that the pursuit of sexual release, so heavily promoted by modern society, might be the very thing that's robbing you of your vitality and inherent power? The implications are far-reaching, touching every facet of your existence, from your physical health to your mental clarity and your capacity to manifest your deepest desires. This isn't about denial or repression, it's about reclaiming your power, conserving your life force, and transmuting it into a wellspring of energy that can fuel your highest potential. This is the essence of sexual alchemy, a lost art that modern society has systematically devalued. We have been taught to see sexual expression as simply a release, a momentary pleasure, yet ancient cultures revered this life force, recognizing its potential for profound transformation and enlightenment. This understanding, the very foundation of countless esoteric traditions, contrasts dramatically with our current obsession with hypersexuality and the constant pursuit of fleeting gratification. In a world where excess is celebrated, the concept of conservation is almost entirely forgotten. The same system that profits from your material consumption also profits from your energetic dissipation. This knowledge is not just about improved physical health or sexual performance. This is about tapping into a reservoir of power within you, unlocking dormant potential for heightened creativity, expanded awareness, and an innate ability to master your own destiny. Consider the far-reaching effects of constantly leaking this vital energy: the brain fog, the lethargy, the lack of motivation. These are all directly tied to the persistent drain of your personal energy. But what if you could reverse this? What if you could consciously redirect and transmute this energy to achieve your goals, to fuel your intentions, and to take complete control of your reality? By understanding the core principles of energy conservation, transmutation, and self-mastery, you can move beyond the limitations of your current experiences and step into a new realm of possibility. This journey explores these concepts in detail, revealing how your sexual energy is not meant to be squandered, but to be transformed into greater consciousness and used to consciously create the reality you desire. It is through the conscious mastery of this energy that true freedom and self-determination can be achieved. For millennia, across various cultures, this wisdom has been preserved within secret teachings and passed down through esoteric traditions. From the ancient Indian yogis, who saw sexual energy as the key to Kundalini awakening, to the Chinese Taoist priests, who developed sophisticated techniques for its transmutation, this knowledge was only accessible to a select few, who guarded it closely, recognizing its profound importance and power. These were not simply methods of physical health, but also tools for spiritual transformation and self-realization. Semen is far more than just a biological fluid. It is a carrier of your vital life force, your prana, your kai, the very energy that animates your being. It contains the blueprint of your existence, the raw potential of creation. When you understand this, you can start to understand the magnitude of what is being dissipated through conventional sexual practices. These ancient mystery schools understood that sexual energy was the fire of consciousness, and by conserving it, they unlocked hidden potentials that could be used to accelerate spiritual growth and awareness. When this energy is released, it is scattered, dissipated, and lost. But when conserved, it accumulates and builds within, like a raging fire, ready to be channeled and directed towards specific purposes. Now that you have a glimpse into the true nature of your semen and the life force it carries, does it still make sense to give this away so easily? What if the constant stimulation and release that is promoted by modern society is a carefully constructed mechanism designed to keep you in a state of weakness and dependency? What if the system wants to keep you constantly seeking external gratification so that you never tap into your inner power? This isn't just an idea, this is part of a system of control that depends on your ignorance and your addiction to external pleasures. This powerful information long known and understood in ancient cultures, has been deliberately suppressed and forgotten, leading to the collective amnesia about our true potential. But why was this knowledge suppressed, and who benefits from our ignorance? The answers to these questions and the practical steps to reclaim your energy will be revealed as we continue this exploration. In the next section, we will dive into the science of semen, revealing the biological and hormonal mechanisms at play. You will be amazed to see how this knowledge aligns with the ancient texts and how it can instantly transform your life and bring you into alignment with your highest potential. Now, let's dissect the modern perspective on sex and sexuality, a perspective that is so deeply ingrained in our collective consciousness that we often fail to question its validity. Consider how sex is portrayed in mainstream media, in advertisements, in movies. It is almost always presented as a primarily physical act, focused on the sensation of release and immediate gratification. It's a performance, a quest for a fleeting moment of pleasure, devoid of any deeper meaning or energetic understanding. The emphasis is on achieving a climax, not on the energetic exchange between two beings, not on the conservation of life force, not on the spiritual union that it can represent. It's a transaction, often a hollow one, that leaves one feeling depleted and unfulfilled. This limited view reduces a profound human experience into a purely physical act and completely disregards the profound energetic and spiritual consequences. What if, by constantly chasing this fleeting pleasure, we are inadvertently draining ourselves of our most vital energy, perpetuating a cycle of dependency and dissatisfaction? Consider the typical societal emphasis on performance and instant gratification in sexual encounters. The focus on achieving a climax, often as quickly as possible, completely disregards the energetic dynamics that are at play. Think about the cultural narrative around sex appeal, how it promotes a constant state of energetic depletion as individuals chase after an idealized image, and how this endless pursuit leaves many feeling empty and unfulfilled. This perspective is not only incomplete, but also fundamentally flawed. It actively promotes the dissipation of vital energy. The energetic drain that occurs during ejaculation is not merely a physiological event. It's a multidimensional loss that impacts your entire being. While the immediate physical sensation may be pleasurable, it's quickly followed by a sense of lethargy, depletion, and a reduction in your overall vitality as the body struggles to replenish what has been lost. This is not just a physical loss of semen, of proteins and minerals. It's also a loss of mental and emotional energy, leaving you feeling drained, foggy, and unmotivated. Have you ever noticed how difficult it can be to focus or concentrate after ejaculation? This is not a coincidence. It's a direct result of the depletion of your life force, your prana. The feeling of being drained after ejaculation is not just an individual experience, but it is a collective one. This energy loss can be measured both biologically, through the depletion of key micronutrients and hormones, and energetically, through the subtle yet palpable shift in consciousness. The loss of key micronutrients, such as zinc, magnesium, and vitamins, contributes significantly to these feelings of depletion, as these are not just simple building blocks, but crucial elements in cellular regeneration, nervous system function, and hormonal balance. Every time you ejaculate, you are not simply releasing fluid, you are sacrificing these essential components that are vital for your well-being and reducing your body's overall capacity for vitality. Consider this: your body created these elements for a reason. They are part of the blueprint of your life, and by releasing them constantly, you are draining your very essence. Moreover, the cultural norms that permeate modern society actively encourage the excessive release of sexual energy, perpetuating a cycle of dependency and addiction that serves to disempower individuals. The constant barrage of sexually explicit imagery in the media, the easy access to pornography, and the societal emphasis on casual sexual encounters all contribute to this cycle of depletion and disempowerment. Think about how pornography promotes unrealistic expectations and hyperstimulates the sexual drive, leading to a constant state of arousal and a need for release, creating a never-ending loop of addiction. Consider how modern advertising and media use sexual imagery to promote consumerism, creating a link between sex and consumption. The message is always, you are not enough, so buy this product, get that pleasure, and the addiction loop continues. This is not an accidental phenomenon. It is part of a larger system that benefits from your addiction and your lack of self-control. A disempowered population, constantly seeking external gratification, is easier to control, more susceptible to manipulation, and far less likely to question the status quo. These systems thrive on your weakness, and the less energetic you are, the less resistance you will offer to their manipulations. The culture, media, and all these systems profit from your loss. They thrive on your energetic dissipation, perpetuating a system that is designed to keep you disempowered and disconnected from your true potential. This continuous drain of your energy keeps you in a state of perpetual seeking, and this is a deliberate mechanism of control. To better understand this dynamic, visualize a leaking tap, constantly dripping, slowly but surely emptying the reservoir of water it is connected to. This is a fitting analogy for the constant loss of sexual energy through ejaculation, each instance slowly draining your vitality, your focus, and your overall power. This continuous drip, this constant dissipation, prevents the accumulation of energy, leaving you in a state of perpetual depletion, unable to reach your full potential. Now, imagine a dam, a massive structure holding back an immense body of water. This represents the power of retained energy, the immense potential that can be harnessed and directed towards a specific purpose. When you retain your sexual energy, you are essentially building a dam within yourself, allowing that energy to accumulate and build, creating a vast reservoir of power that can be used to fuel your intentions, to enhance your creativity, and to accelerate your spiritual growth. This conserved energy, this inner fire, is not meant to be suppressed, but rather transmuted, redirected, and used to fuel your passions, to bring forth new ideas, and to manifest your deepest desires. This visualization illustrates the profound difference between the constant loss of energy and the immense power of conservation, highlighting the very core principle of sexual alchemy. Now let's turn our attention to the wisdom of the ancients, those who understood the profound significance of semen and the importance of retaining this vital life force. Across countless cultures and spiritual traditions, semen retention was not just a practice, it was a sacred art, a key to unlocking hidden potentials and achieving spiritual enlightenment. Consider the monastic traditions of Buddhism and Christianity, where celibacy was viewed as an essential component of the spiritual path. This was not about repressing natural desires, but about consciously conserving energy to focus on higher purposes. In ancient spiritual texts, the concept of sexual purity was not about moral dogma, but about the conscious control and direction of one's life force. Ancient traditions also spoke of the divine marriage, not just a physical union, but an alchemical process of inner transformation, where sexual energy was used to unite the masculine and feminine aspects of the self. These practices were not limited to a specific region or belief system. They were a universal recognition of the power that lies within human sexuality, a shared understanding that has been passed down across millennia. From the Indian yogis who saw sexual energy as the key to Kundalini awakening, to the Chinese Taoist priests who developed sophisticated techniques for its transmutation, this ancient wisdom has been consistently emphasized, showing a long history of use of this practice for self-mastery. This wasn't a fringe idea, this was a central concept for spiritual growth. The esoteric significance of semen extends far beyond its biological function. It was regarded as a potent vehicle for spiritual transformation, linked to the awakening of Kundalini energy or the inner fire of consciousness. Tantric traditions view semen as a concentrated source of prana or shakti, the vital life force that animates the entire universe. The practice of semen retention is viewed not as an act of denial, but as an opportunity to harness and redirect this powerful energy, using it to fuel spiritual ascension, to expand consciousness, and to achieve self-realization. The inner fire that is spoken of in ancient texts is not just a metaphor. It's a literal description of the potent energy that resides within, that when awakened, illuminates the path towards enlightenment. Alchemists also viewed the human body as a vessel for transmutation, a microcosm of the universe, and that through conscious control of one's energy, one can achieve inner transformation. This is why alchemy was more than just a physical practice, it was also a spiritual one. They understood the importance of conserving, refining, and transmuting this vital energy. The body was seen as the laboratory, and the human spirit, the alchemist. This ancient wisdom, preserved within these traditions, shows us that semen is far more than just a biological fluid. It is the raw material for your own personal alchemy. This brings us to the concept of inner alchemy, the process of using the body as a vessel for spiritual transformation, in much the same way that alchemists tried to transform base metals into gold. The conservation of physical energy, specifically semen, is directly linked to the transmutation of consciousness. The inner gold spoken of in esoteric texts is not literal gold, but a metaphor for spiritual enlightenment, the ultimate goal of the alchemist's quest. Alchemical diagrams often depicted the process of transmutation as a series of steps, each representing a stage of transformation. The process of semen retention can be seen as a parallel process, where the conscious effort to control one's energy leads to higher states of consciousness. The lead spoken of by alchemists represents the state of low vitality, of ignorance, of being trapped in patterns of addiction and consumption. And through the process of transmutation, this lead can be transformed into gold, representing the highest potential of the human spirit. This is not a passive process, but an active one, requiring conscious intent, unwavering focus, and the mastery of one's own desires. Just as an alchemist carefully controlled the conditions in their laboratory, so too must we control the conditions of our own bodies, minds, and spirits. And this all starts with the conscious mastery of our sexual energy. This inner transmutation, the conscious effort to conserve and redirect this vital force, is the true work of the alchemist within you. And yet, while ancient cultures recognized and revered the power of semen retention, modern society has largely forgotten or ridiculed this practice, choosing instead to embrace a culture of hypersexuality and instant gratification, choosing the drip rather than the dam. This contrast is not accidental. It is a reflection of our collective amnesia regarding our true potential, our ignorance of the profound spiritual significance of our own life force. Ancient texts and traditions that promoted the conservation of sexual energy stand in stark contrast with the contemporary prevalence of sexually explicit content and the associated cultural messages that prioritize instant release over energetic mastery. The ancients understood the power of focus and intention, knowing that when energy is scattered, it is weakened, but when it is focused and conserved, it is amplified. Yet modern society has forgotten this basic principle, perpetuating a system of constant energetic depletion. It is as if we have traded our inner power for fleeting pleasures, trading our inherent potential for the temporary satisfaction of external stimulation. This deliberate suppression of ancient wisdom is a part of the control system. It is designed to keep you in a state of weakness and dependency. And so we find ourselves at a crossroads, a choice between the path of dissipation and the path of conscious mastery. By reclaiming the wisdom of the ancients and applying it to our lives, we can begin to restore our inner power. Now let's shift our focus to the science behind semen retention, exploring the biological mechanisms at play and revealing the tangible benefits that this practice can offer. Semen is far more than just a fluid. It's a complex substance composed of a rich array of nutrients, including proteins, minerals, and hormones that are essential for overall health and well-being, all which are lost upon ejaculation. The nutritional composition of semen alone shows that this is not just waste, but a valuable resource for the body. Key nutrients, such as zinc, magnesium, and vitamins, are not simply random additions, but essential components of cellular regeneration, nervous system function, and hormone production. Zinc, for instance, is critical for immune function, testosterone production, and the synthesis of DNA, while magnesium is involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions, playing a key role in energy production, muscle function, and nerve transmission. These are not just trace elements, they are vital to maintaining balance and health within the body. Every time you ejaculate, you are sacrificing these key components and depleting your body of essential elements, thus it is no wonder you feel drained and depleted. This understanding highlights the biological significance of semen retention, demonstrating that it is not just an esoteric concept, but a practical one with tangible health benefits. The hormonal impact of ejaculation and retention is another crucial aspect of this understanding. Studies have shown that men who practice semen retention experience increased testosterone levels, higher energy levels, and enhanced mental clarity, all of which are scientifically measurable. Testosterone, often associated with masculinity, is also essential for overall vitality, muscle mass, bone density, and cognitive function. The body produces this for a reason, and by choosing to retain semen, you are allowing your body to make full use of these hormones. Conversely, regular ejaculation can lead to a decrease in testosterone, which over time can lead to lethargy, reduced motivation, and even depression. This cascade of hormonal imbalances that are caused by constant release is directly linked to the loss of vitality and overall well-being, as hormone balance is essential for a multitude of bodily functions. When these levels are in flux, all areas of health are impacted. This clearly shows that semen retention is not just a practice, but an essential component for hormonal balance and overall well-being. The scientific evidence clearly supports the idea that conserving semen is directly correlated with measurable improvements in hormonal levels, energy, and mental clarity that are the result of the body's own hormonal balance being allowed to fulfill its intended purpose. Beyond the hormonal and nutritional effects, semen retention also impacts the neurochemical balance in the brain, leading to increased dopamine levels, enhanced focus, and heightened motivation. Dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure, reward, and motivation, is released during sexual activity, creating a surge of positive feelings, which is great, until the body experiences a dopamine drain that occurs after the release, as the brain seeks to rebalance itself. And it is this rebalancing that leads to the crash, the brain fog, and the decreased motivation that many experience after ejaculation. Regular retention, however, can help regulate dopamine levels, preventing this dopamine drain and promoting a more consistent state of focus, motivation, and mental clarity. These neurochemical changes contribute to a more balanced state, where mental sharpness and emotional stability are greatly enhanced. This demonstrates that semen retention is not just about the body. It also has profound effects on brain chemistry, on motivation, and mental clarity. These are very measurable and scientifically testable impacts of retention that point to its effectiveness beyond the realm of esoteric traditions. By understanding both the esoteric and scientific evidence, it becomes clear that these two seemingly disparate approaches are not in conflict, but are rather complementary aspects of the same truth. The esoteric concept of prana, kai, and kundalini can be seen as analogous to the scientifically measurable increase in cellular energy, hormonal balance, and neurochemical activity. Cellular respiration, the process by which cells convert nutrients into energy, can be seen as the biological basis of life force, and this cellular energy efficiency is increased through semen retention. Ancient traditions and modern scientific research are pointing to the same conclusion. Semen is a potent source of life force, and its conservation can lead to profound benefits. By connecting the ancient concept of life force to the modern scientific understanding of cellular respiration, we bridge the gap between ancient wisdom and modern science, demonstrating that the pursuit of truth is the same regardless of the tools we use. Thus, we can see that these two traditions align to show us the same truth, that the energy we have is not meant to be squandered. Now it's time to shift our focus from theory to action, to emphasize that you, the viewer, have the power to consciously influence your own reality. You are not at the mercy of your urges or the whims of society. You are the master of your own destiny, the creator of your own reality. By consciously choosing to retain and transmute your sexual energy, you are not simply changing a physical habit, but you are taking control of your very life force, your inherent power, your energetic potential. You have the power to change your life, to overcome your limitations, and to step into your highest potential. It is not an external force that will create your transformation, but rather your own inner will and intention that is necessary for the journey to begin. This knowledge is not meant to remain in the realm of abstract ideas. It is meant to be applied, to be integrated into your daily lives, and to be used as a catalyst for your own self-mastery and personal evolution. It is up to you to take control of your energy. It is up to you to make the choice. This brings us to a key understanding. True power comes from understanding and choosing one's actions, not from blindly following societal norms. You are not a slave to your impulses or a victim of your circumstances, but rather a conscious creator with the inherent ability to shape your own reality. When you understand the energetic consequences of your choices, especially those that are linked to your sexual energy, you can begin to make more conscious decisions, moving away from the impulses of the body and toward a path of self-mastery. The difference between living as a slave to impulse versus living as a master of one's desires and energies is the key to self-control and personal power. When you live as a slave, your life is dictated by your urges, but when you live as a master, you are able to transcend the limitations of the body and consciously choose your actions. This is how you will begin to regain your power, to take control of your life, and to step into a reality that you choose and not one that is dictated by others. And so, the process of sexual alchemy is not about denial. It is about harnessing the power of choice. It's about intentionally making decisions that align with your highest potential. In the next section, we will explore specific techniques that you can use today to start your journey toward transmutation and self-mastery. This is not just about withholding energy, but it's about redirecting it, transmuting it, and channeling it towards specific purposes. You will be given the tools you need to reclaim your energy and to take back the control that has been lost for so long, through intentional practices, visualizations, and step-by-step guidance. It is time to move beyond the theoretical and into the practical, and for you to begin implementing these tools in your own life. This is not about a distant ideal. It's about immediate, tangible results that you can begin to experience from today onward. This is not the end of your journey. This is only just the beginning. Now I invite you to reflect on what you have learned thus far, to ponder the implications of this knowledge, and to consider the immense potential that lies within you. How can you take this knowledge to transform your life? How can you begin to harness the power within you and create the future that you desire? How can you begin to consciously make choices that lead you to a more powerful and self-mastered version of yourself? The next steps are yours to take, and so I invite you to consider these questions deeply, to contemplate the answers that arise within you, and to prepare yourself for the transformation that awaits. In the next section, you will begin to experience what is possible as we look into the practical steps of transmutation, of self-mastery, and the path to a greater version of yourself. Now, we understand that the practice of semen retention is not merely about abstaining from ejaculation. It is about the conscious transmutation of sexual energy, a powerful form of inner alchemy that unlocks one's inherent potential, a long-lost, esoteric truth. The process involves actively conserving this vital force, not to suppress it, but to redirect and transform it for specific purposes, for enhancing physical vitality, for increasing mental clarity, and for accelerating spiritual growth. The key lies in understanding that this energy, often squandered through conventional sexual behaviors, is actually the very source of one's personal power and creative potential. It is not just about what one does not do, but about what one chooses to do with this concentrated life force. This process is not a denial, it's a conscious choice, a deliberate act of self-mastery that places one firmly on the path of self-transformation. The core of this truth is now in your possession, and with it, the ability to change your destiny. This fundamental truth directly contrasts the mainstream approach to sexuality, which promotes the constant dissipation of energy, as opposed to the esoteric understanding that it is a powerful source of creation. We've explored how the mainstream view focuses on fleeting pleasure and immediate gratification, thereby perpetuating a cycle of dependence and powerlessness. But the esoteric perspective, on the other hand, reveals that this same energy, when conserved and consciously directed, is the very foundation of life, of creation, and of self-mastery. The mainstream understanding is not only incomplete, it is, in many ways, a deliberately constructed mechanism that keeps individuals disempowered and disconnected from their true potential. This is a key distinction that shifts everything, because when one understands that the prevailing approach is designed to keep one weak, the path to power becomes clear. By embracing the esoteric perspective, one understands that their sexual energy is not something to be squandered, but is a powerful force to be harnessed, to be directed, and to be used consciously. The ability to choose this path is the ability to choose freedom. We now see that semen is far more than just a biological fluid. It is a powerful carrier of life force energy, a vital substance that is essential for physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. This life force, often referred to as prana or kai in ancient traditions, is the very essence of vitality and creative potential, and its conservation is the foundation of personal transformation. The scientific understanding that semen contains essential nutrients, hormones, and neurochemicals aligns perfectly with the esoteric understanding that it is a potent source of life force. This is not merely a matter of semantics, but a deep and profound realization that bridges the gap between science and spirituality. The retention of this energy is directly linked to measurable improvements in physical health, mental clarity, and overall vitality. This understanding reveals the link between the body and the spirit, showing that they are not separate but interconnected aspects of the same human experience. The process of transmutation is not a mystical process that is outside of yourself. It is an inner process that occurs as you take the steps, both mentally and physically, to redirect your energy, creating profound and lasting change in your life. This understanding transforms the way one perceives sexuality, shifting it from a mere act of release to a conscious act of creation, of empowerment, and of self-mastery. The viewer now knows that their sexual energy is not something to be simply given away, but something to be consciously directed, to be refined, and to be used to fuel their personal journey. By consciously choosing to retain and transmute sexual energy, one transcends the impulse of the body and instead steps into the power of the spirit, shifting the very nature of sexual expression from an act of dissipation to one of self-creation. The ability to direct this force is the ability to master oneself, and therefore, to master one's destiny. This conscious choice is not about denial. It is about empowerment. The viewer now has the tools to choose how to manage and direct this force, to use it to fuel the growth that they desire. This marks a fundamental change in perspective. Let us now consider that the practice of semen retention is not an isolated act, but is deeply connected to larger concepts such as personal responsibility, self-mastery, and the ability to consciously create one's own reality. The implications of this practice extend far beyond mere sexual health. It is a key to unlocking the very potential that lies within, showing that one is not just a physical being, but a conscious creator, with the ability to shape one's reality through conscious intention. The power to create is not something that is granted by external sources, but is something that resides within each individual, and the process of semen retention is one of the most direct paths to accessing that power. By choosing to direct one's energy consciously, the viewer acknowledges that they are not at the mercy of circumstance, but are instead the master of their own fate. Thus, semen retention becomes not just a personal practice, but a direct path to self-mastery and the conscious creation of one's destiny. This understanding is the foundation of a fully realized life. The deeper meaning of the dissipation versus conservation pattern is that dissipating one's sexual energy is the equivalent of giving away one's personal power, while conserving it is the path towards accumulating life force and the manifesting of one's deepest intentions. It's a fundamental principle that impacts every aspect of one's life, and the way one approaches this energy dictates the experiences they will attract. Just as a leaking tap slowly empties a reservoir, the constant dissipation of sexual energy diminishes one's vitality, reduces focus, and weakens the very capacity to manifest desired outcomes. Conversely, the conservation of this energy allows one to build up a potent reservoir of life force that can be directed toward creative endeavors, mental clarity, and spiritual awakening. This directly connects to the process of creation, as the very energy that one conserves and directs is the energy by which all things are brought into manifestation. Thus, the practice of semen retention moves one from a state of constant depletion into a state of limitless potential, and with this shift, one begins to directly experience the power of creation. Ignoring this knowledge has far-reaching implications, as the continuous dissipation of sexual energy leads to a state of disempowerment, dependence, and a lack of purpose in life. The constant seeking of external gratification creates a cycle of addiction that diminishes vitality, reduces mental clarity, and weakens one's willpower. This is not just a personal struggle, it also contributes to a collective state of disempowerment, as societies that promote the constant dissipation of sexual energy are more easily controlled and manipulated. The lack of understanding of the power of personal energy leads to the acceptance of limiting beliefs and to the passive participation in systems of control that seek to keep one in a state of disempowerment. But now you see that this continuous drain has a profound impact, not just on one's physical well-being, but also on one's mental and emotional state, limiting the capacity to live a truly fulfilling life, both as an individual and as a collective. Thus, the practice of retention is not merely an esoteric concept. It is an essential tool for breaking free from cycles of addiction and regaining personal power. This understanding allows the viewer to make informed choices about their sexual energy, choices that are based on a deeper understanding of their own body, mind, and potential, rather than on the whims of society. The conscious choice to retain this energy empowers one to move beyond limiting beliefs and societal norms, to make decisions that are aligned with the greatest potential of their being. This knowledge gives the viewer a profound sense of agency, recognizing that their choices have direct consequences on the manifestation of their reality. The viewer now has the ability to transcend the limitations of the body, the limitations of cultural norms, and the limitations of old beliefs, becoming the master of their own destiny. This level of self-awareness is the key to unlocking one's true potential, showing that the path to self-mastery is not found externally, but within, when one consciously chooses the direction of their energy. This is the key to not being a slave to impulse, but to being a master of one's own destiny. Now, let's connect the recurring thread of lost knowledge, revealing that this practice was once widely known and revered, but was deliberately suppressed to keep individuals in a state of weakness and dependence. This suppression was not accidental. It was a deliberate effort to disempower individuals by disconnecting them from their life force and from the ability to create their own reality. The knowledge of semen's true potential was removed from mainstream thought, thereby creating a population that is more easily manipulated and less likely to question authority, thereby maintaining systems of control. By suppressing the understanding of one's life force, those in power ensured that the population would be easily controlled, because if they are disconnected from their inner power, they will always seek external solutions to their problems. But the viewer now has access to this previously hidden knowledge, reclaiming a lost heritage and empowering them to break free from these cycles of dependency and to step into their full potential. This marks the completion of the arc from mystery to knowledge. This also completes the ancient wisdom versus modern ignorance pattern, revealing the profound difference between the two approaches and showing the power of the ancient perspective to empower individuals to take control of their lives. Modern society's ignorance of this practice is not accidental, but is a symptom of a larger system that benefits from the energetic depletion of the population. In contrast, the ancient perspective highlights the profound significance of semen as a carrier of life force, showing that this is not an old or outdated idea, but a foundational understanding that has been passed down through the ages. By embracing the ancient wisdom, the viewer unlocks a path towards self-mastery, allowing them to take control of their energy and in so doing, to consciously create their own destiny. This marks the completion of the pattern cycle, and the path forward is now illuminated. This is the very path to individual power and to collective awakening. The initial question about the purpose of sexual energy can now be answered with clarity. It is meant for creation, not for dissipation, and the path for harnessing that creation is through semen retention. Sexual energy is not just a means for physical pleasure, but is the raw material of life itself, the source of creative potential, the fuel for spiritual transformation. When this energy is constantly released, it is squandered, but when it is consciously conserved and directed, it can be used to manifest one's deepest desires and accelerate personal evolution. This is the very essence of sexual alchemy, the process of transmuting base desires into higher states of consciousness. This process is not about suppressing natural urges, but about consciously choosing the direction of one's own energy, using it to fuel one's creative potential. Therefore, the answer is clear, and the path to personal power is through the conscious management of one's life force. The practice of semen retention is not an end, it is the key to unlocking that power. The tension that has been built throughout this video is now released, because the viewer now has the power and knowledge to break free from limiting beliefs and patterns. The understanding that semen is far more than just a biological fluid, but a source of life force, allows one to consciously shape their own reality through the conscious management of their sexual energy. The process is simple, although it does require the conscious effort to make different choices, to move away from patterns of addiction, and to choose a path of self-mastery. The path is not difficult, it is a step-by-step process that anyone can follow, and the results are both profound and tangible, showing that true freedom lies not in external forces, but in one's own inner will and intention. The power is always in your hands. By choosing to control this force, you control your destiny, and you consciously create your own reality. Now, consider that the practice of semen retention is not an end in itself, but rather a beginning, the first step on a journey of self-discovery that leads to a deeper exploration of consciousness and the full potential of human experience. As one begins to consciously control and direct their sexual energy, a whole world of possibilities opens up. This path is one of continuous growth and evolution, where each step further refines one's potential. This is not the final destination. It is but the first step on a path that leads toward greater personal awareness and an ever-expanding capacity for growth. The path that has been revealed is one of endless exploration into what it truly means to be human and to realize the magic that is within. This practice also has further implications, as it opens the door for exploration of advanced techniques of energy transmutation, creative power, and spiritual awakening. We've only scratched the surface of what is possible, as there are many other techniques and practices that one can explore as they delve further into this journey of self-mastery. In future content, we will delve deeper into these advanced techniques, offering a continuing roadmap for personal growth, for creative empowerment, and for the acceleration of spiritual awakening. These future areas of exploration will show you the true extent of your potential, demonstrating that this initial step is but the beginning of a journey of limitless possibility. This is not just the end of this video, it's the beginning of your path to greater personal awareness. I invite the viewer to join a community of like-minded individuals who are on the same path, where experiences can be shared and where the conversation can continue in the comments section below. This path of self-discovery is not one that is meant to be traveled alone. As a community, we can share ideas, offer guidance, and support one another as we all move towards our own unique and personal transformation. Your insights and experiences are a valuable addition to this community, as together we can explore the depths of human potential and the power that is unlocked through self-mastery. Let us journey forward together. And so I conclude with a powerful call to action, urging the viewer to implement this knowledge and to embrace the path of semen retention, because this single step has the power to fundamentally change the course of one's life. The next steps are clear, and the knowledge is now in your hands. Remember, the power to transform your life lies within you, waiting to be unlocked. Do not wait for tomorrow, begin today. And so, I invite you to stay tuned for future content, where we will continue to explore the depths of human potential and the power that is unlocked by mastering one's own energy. The path has been revealed, and now the journey is yours. This is not the end of the story, but the beginning. This is where your magic begins. Comment your thoughts and questions below.